Okay. Well, Siddarth Bhamre has also joined us. Siddarth, good morning. Nifty?
Good morning, Lata. We remain, optimistic on this market. Last week, we were suggesting that, even if market is going down, one should not short this market, because since last 1 year, we have been seeing that it's not a one-way fall. You are getting, substantial bounce back. And we are in that bounce back. We were thinking that market would bounce to 7550 odd levels, and now we feel that it has potential to bounce back at least till 7700. And reason for those are like, Lata, if you look at FI's index futures, we have been constantly saying since last 1.5 2 months that despite market coming down, these guys are not shorting in index futures. Last 2 trading sessions of January series, we saw them doing some shorting, but then there was huge change in open interest, which suggested that this is more to do with expiry. And first 2 trading session of Feb series, we have seen some fresh formation of long positions in index futures, which clearly suggests that the biasness is positive. Also, when we started this series, we were around 7500. Generally, people have this habit of seeing where the put built up is very high and where call built up is very high. Though put was scattered, call initially we saw around 7700 calls had lot of open interest, but competing to them was 8000 call option. Now that was surprising. Last 2 trading session, as Anuj also pointed out, there's a lot of index option buying by FIs, and my assessment says that it is more to do with call buying rather than put buying. And we have seen 7700 and 7800 call option also seeing rise in open interest when FIs are buying index options. So I think we should not be in hurry to short this market. Those people who are anticipating now, just a week back, a lot of people were saying we are in bounce back and this is a sell on rise market. I think one should wait for selling and continue to ride on this upside move at least for next 150-200 points, I feel.
Alright, Siddarth, just stay on, gentlemen. We need to take a short break, but we'll be back in time for the pre-opening rates.
Renault Passion for Life presents Headlines of the Day. Brought to you by Renault Passion for Life.
Hi, welcome back to the show. Well, let's get a couple of more calls in before we get the market rates opening. Siddarth, what would your top picks be? You have a couple of stocks, Hindalco and HDIL, that you're looking at today.
So yeah, my view on the market is that this market would, continue to move up, and we will see, laggards to do well in this kind of market, especially, commodities stocks. We have seen, if you look from week on week basis, crude oil prices significantly bounce back, and this would have effect on other commodities. Last week during expiry time, we were actively suggesting to buy Vedanta. I think Hindalco would start move this week. It has seen a formation of short positions in last expiry. They've got rolled over too. I'm again expecting a short covering bounce, just like what happened in Vedanta. There might be a result impact, but Hindalco would also see a substantial upside from current levels. So 80 is my target. I would suggest to fix stop loss around 67. Now
Okay.
HDIL is also
HDIL, shall we come to you in just a minute, because we're getting
Sure.
the pre-opening rates, and our producer is helpfully telling us that Tech Mahindra is not fallen just yet. Let's first just watch out for the rupee. It was 67.84, I think, when it closed yesterday. 67.85. That is an indication of flatness, as one expected. Not too much of cues for the rupee. The Sensex has now moved mildly into the red, but it's still mild. Actually, Asian markets are more red than green. There's only Shanghai, which is its own world, not quite a trendsetter, but other markets are all mildly in the red. So we should be prepared for a little bit of red maybe. At this point in time, what are individual stocks doing? Nothing much. ICICI is showing a little bit of green, and Kane and ONGC are predictably in the red, because we have seen that downtick coming in crude prices. So the big losers are Kane, GAIL, ONGC, in that order. But let's wait and see. These are still very early hours. Let's get back to you, Siddarth. Sorry, I had to cut you off, but you were giving us your HDIL strategy.
Yeah, so HDIL is one of the strongest stock in real estate space, and I was just going through that how commercial real estate has started becoming active now. This stock has not made new lows since last 2-3 months, Lata, and we are seeing formation of long position in this counter. Momentum is also on the side of the stock, so I'm expecting a further upside from current levels, more or less similar kind of levels what I mentioned in Hindalco. So 82 is my immediate target in HDIL, and fixed stop loss somewhere around 67. So this is the stock. Even in DLF I'm expecting a bounce back, but HDIL seems to be a stronger candidate.
Okay. Well, let's also discuss some numbers now. Stay on, gentlemen. We have Karan Tarani, the senior analyst at Dolat Capital, joining in to talk about the Tech Mahindra numbers. As we told you, it's been an unimpressive quarter. The dollar revenues have grown just 0.4%, and the profits have fallen for Tech Mahindra 3.3%. Karan, hi, morning. This is a stock that has underperformed for so long, and in these numbers, it seems like there's nothing that could take the stock or that could cause a rebound in the stock. What's your own view?
So view remains, the quarter was largely muted in terms of performance.
Well, thanks a lot for that, Karan, for joining us with your thoughts on Tech Mahindra. Soft quarter, but Karan has a buy, expecting probably better revenues from telecom and more an FY17 buy call of 600 rupees on Tech Mahindra. The bond yields have opened at 7.8. It would be in a wait and watch mood. If there is any indication that there will be more cash supplied to the system in any fashion, either in the repo or with the RBI coming in and buying bonds and supplying, then this market will have something to cheer. Actually, that's exactly what the bond markets have to watch out for. On interest rates itself, it will be more a year-long call. Is the governor confident that inflation is going to move down 5 and sub 5 1 year down the line? That is what going to be watched for. That will be both a longer term cue as well as a shorter term liquidity cue is what the bond markets will be watching out for. Well, let's do one thing, give you some more trading ideas.
Okay, well, the pre-opening rates have settled absolutely flat. I guess it's wait and watch mode ahead of the RBI policy. So we're going to let Lata go now, and we'll catch up with her when the policy gets released at 11 a.m. Lata, see you.
All right. Well, it's not going to be too much of drama unless something comes on banks or on liquidity. But yes, 11 o'clock will nevertheless have to be watched.
Okay. So in the meantime, we will continue spotting stocks and telling you about the markets. Don't worry about that. So flat for the market, but let's talk about some individual names. Prakash, you've sifted through earnings season and you've come out with one stock that you're recommending for the long-term investor. Which one is that?
So yeah, these are troubled times, and I thought, let me stand away from mid caps for a while, and I've chosen something which is fairly comfortable in terms of market cap, and this is Adani Ports and SEZ. There's a whole change in environment for the shipping companies, for the port companies, and that has gone kind of quietly unnoticed. Let me just explain why I like this particular name. APSEZ has currently 3 terminals operating out of a place called Mundra. All of us know Mundra because of Adani actually. Container 1 is operated by DP World. Container Terminal 2 is operated by the company itself, and CT3 is a 50-50 JV between the company and MSC. MSC is the second largest shipping line in the world, and now they're setting up Container Terminal 4, which is also a JV with CBG. It's a consortium. Of course, it'll take some time. June 2016 is when it's likely to get commissioned. Now, all put together, right now the capacity is 4 billion TEUs, and it could go up to about 6.6 once this expansion happens. Currently, we've seen FY15 utilization has been about 2.7 million out of the capacity, and maybe FY16 probably will end up being about 3 million. So that's still under the rated capacity, which means there's headroom for growth. Now, what's going to change is they are looking at expanding the scale of the CT3, which is the existing terminal, from 800 meters quay length to almost about 1460, which technically means, in simple word, means that you start managing much larger shipments, cargo ships, and the container handling capacity goes up exponentially and not just linearly. That makes this port eligible for what is called transshipment. Now, transshipment is something which is very profitable because you don't originate or have a destination. India has a destination for cargo, but anything going through that route also kind of comes and gets parked there, and that's a lot of money. So to the Middle East, to Southeast Asia, a lot of other countries, you could start doing transshipment. MSC has a huge base in Salalah and Jebel Ali in the Middle East. So to de-risk that, to diversify out of that zone, they're moving to India. If that happens, Adani is going to get completely re-rated, and that could probably take another 3 to 6 months, maybe 9 months. Even without that, if you look at the numbers, it's moved from a high of 375 to almost this 225 level. So I think there's a huge upside. It's just rated at 13x FY17. You have a great stock in the Nifty and probably a positive Make in India campaign to back it up also.
Okay, well, we'll come back to a couple of more stocks, but just in the pre-opening itself, you have some of these names that are reacting. Bajaj Auto is down because exports are down for the 5th month straight, so that stock is down 0.5%. Tech Mahindra is a disappointing performance this time, dollar revenue growth of just 0.4%, so that stock is in the red as well. A couple of good numbers came in from the likes of Gujarat Siddhi Cements, which is up almost 8% in pre-opening, and TVS Motor had a good performance this time, sales growth of 12%. Perhaps you could see some amount of up move there. For the rest of the show, Rima also joins me, so we'll take it through for the next 1.5 hours. Hi, Rima.
Hi, Sonia. Well, at least for the frontline indices, it seems to be at least it's going to be a quiet start. So all eyes will be on what the RBI governor does in the monetary policy at about 11 o'clock. But we're in conversation with our experts. Prakash, your thoughts on Tech Mahindra, because that might have a bit of a subdued opening, and considering it's been such an underperformer, do you see the downside limited?
I would say the downside is limited because the only thing is it is still down. How much downside goes is difficult to say, but it can slide down to levels closer to 482. But looks like if it starts to climb 520 or cross 520 next week or so, then that will be the first sign of buy for a slightly longer term duration. Looks sluggish on the downside, but yes, it could slide down.
Okay, well, one of the big gainers this morning is Sun Pharma. Remember that stock has been on a gaining trajectory this morning as well. It is up almost about 1% or so. It launched the Gleevec generic, as we all know, and that is one of the, it has a 180-day exclusivity on Gleevec generic. So that's the next big positive that everyone's looking at. But let's get you some trading ideas. On Bullseye this week, we have Vishal Malkan, Vijay Chopra and Gaurav Ratnaparki who are battling it out for the strongest portfolio. So let's listen in to their picks for today.
Glenmark, buy with a stop of 780 for targets of 850. Tata Chem, buy with a stop of 355 for targets of 385. Jet Airways, buy with a stop of 595 for targets of 650. And Adani Ports, buy with a stop of 217 for targets of 232. My first call is a buy call. It's IDFC Bank. It will be bought in the current market price of 56 for a target of 59. And a stop loss of 53 should be maintained by the stock. My second call is a sell call, Wockhardt Pharma. The current market price is 1240. It could be sold for a target of 1210 with a stop loss of 1270. My third call is Cerebra Integrated, a buy call. The current market price is 1890 and it could be bought for a target of 2125 with a stop loss of 1790. My final call is Gati. It could be bought at the current market price of 120 and it could be bought for a target of 128 and the stop loss of 112 should be maintained on the stock.
I have a buy call on Federal Bank with stop loss of 45.70 for target of 49.20. My second pick is India Bulls Housing Finance. Stop loss is at 693 and target at 743. My third pick is Dishman Pharma with stop loss at 325 and target at 349. And my last pick again on the long side, UBL with stop loss at 759 for target of 816.
Okay, we still have about 50 seconds to go before the market opens. Prakash, Diwan, Sun Pharma on the cancer drug launch, how much of an upside do you expect it to see?
I think it's a fairly decent upside, and this is 180 days of sheer skimming the market with a very high margin business. And just to point out, the US FDA serialized list of inspections and all, probably, by virtue of that, it's newer companies that are coming in the list. Sun Pharma has probably already seen the worst and then it's behind itself. So I think it's a stock that's got everything working for itself now.
Okay, so we'll keep that on our radar. We have about 20 more seconds to go. It seems like ahead of the policy, things are going to be subdued. We might just hover around that 75-60 odd zone, and it'll be a lot about stock-specific reactions that we will take you through in the next couple of minutes when the markets open. So names like, okay, couple of seconds, my director tells me. Just about now, you have the Nifty opening absolutely flat, 75.61. All eyes will also be on the Bank Nifty, remember, because yesterday the Bank Nifty was down about 1%. So far, I'm not seeing any kind of pressure on the Bank Index, but it's still early moments. In terms of individual stocks, Bajaj Auto is down 0.7% on the back of weak numbers. Tech Mahindra is down on the back of weak earnings. There are some banking stocks that continue to read under pressure. PNB, Axis Bank, HDFC have all opened in the red this morning. Yes, Bank is also down about 0.3%, but so far the index is still absolutely flat. The top Nifty losers are oil and gas names like KN India, ONGC and GAIL. So that troika is down about 1 to 2.5%. So watch out for that space. On the upside, as I mentioned, Sun Pharma on the back of the launch of the cancer drug Gleevec generic. Sun Pharma is your top Nifty gainer now. Tata Motors is also in the green, I guess, because in the numbers this time the medium and heavy commercial vehicle sales have done well. So perhaps there's an expectation that sector is turning. L&T, another day running, L&T is in the green, up about 0.5%. Maruti is seeing a bit of a rebound, up 0.7%, and so is Asian Paints, up almost about 0.5%. Adani Ports, one of our picks of our experts, is up almost 0.8% right now. But largely, you'd have to say a very quiet start to the market. Not too many gainers and not too many losers. I guess it's just wait and watch mode ahead of the RBI policy. The market breadth is in favor of advances, so that's a good thing, but the index itself is flat.
Yes, indeed. So wait and watch for the mid-cap index as well. The individual stocks are reacting to earnings. So on the gaining side, good earnings from the likes of Gujarat Siddi. So that's straight away flying away to a gain of nearly 11 to 12 odd %. Dalmia Bharat Sugar is up nearly 5%. So that deserves mention. Positive earnings from the likes of Shalimar Paint, Zee Learn. So these stocks too are showing you gains of nearly about 4%. On the losing side, disappointing earnings from Gravitas. So that's down nearly 5 odd %. Aban Offshore has lost close to about 3%. Maharashtra Seamless also should be up for your screen. There we saw the profits decline from 35 crore to about 5 crores. So Maharashtra Seamless has a cut of close to about 4 odd %. Weakness seen in TCI, that's Transport Corporation of India, Saxoft. Sun TV is also under pressure on the back of the Enforcement Directorate directive. So that deserves mention. And keep your eye out on State Bank of Travancore because that has opened up in the green. But banks once again are giving up. So the Bank Nifty is in fact dipped into the red. So again, it's not that the frontline indices are doing anything. So absolutely flat on the Nifty, 75.60 on that. Sensex are holding up with marginal gains of close to about 50 points, and the mid-cap index is a gain of about 0.3%. So things are very, very quiet. I guess that's how it will be for the next 1 hour 45 minutes till we get more from the RBI on the monetary policy. But let's get chatting with our experts. Rajat, any thoughts on the opening? Any stocks that pop up for you in terms of a trade that you would recommend?
See, at the moment, I'm not particularly keen on recommending up any stock because its trend is too early. But only thing I would say is that it's a very flat opening. I'm looking at levels of about, say, 7573 on the upside and 7535 on the downside. So long as it maintains within this no trade zone, it's better not to take a trade. And there is no standout performer except for the fact that Apollo Hospitals is already doing well, and I think Prakash has already given a buy call on that, and it can move further up from here. Say 1527 to about 1534 could be there on the upside. So that looks pretty good to me.
Right. Anuj is also here with us. Anuj, it's almost like deja vu, yesterday's market, flat start, but Bank Nifty under pressure, and that's been the key concern that the street has had.
Yeah, but my sense is that, Sonia, you might see a bit of a positive up move on the Bank Nifty today ahead of the policy, because look, I mean, when you go into the policy, you'd say, can I expect a negative surprise? Maybe not. Can I expect a positive surprise? Maybe yes, in terms of policy. So my sense is it's going to be extremely volatile, not a market in which you want to take day trades. You could be chopped out both ways. Even if you do, you got to keep your strict stop loss. But once again, I'll repeat the adage, as they say, never short a dull market. This is looking extremely dull, but this is a market in which there's no signs of breakdown yet. There is signs that maybe the market has some more legs towards 7650, and if it has to happen, maybe it happens today post policy. So
this is not a dull veering towards a sell-off. It's dull veering towards a rebound.
As of now, that's the indication that maybe this is a market which is looking for one more trigger to go up and maybe test that zone again, 7650, and see if that holds. But I could be wrong. But this is the sense that I get looking at the data.
Okay. Prakash, Tata Motors has started trade in the grain. It's up nearly about 1%. The sales were fairly lackluster. What have you made of that and the up move today?
Well, I think the numbers were slightly better than expected, and vis-a-vis Maruti, what's happening is Tata Motors, since the expectations are low, any uptick in numbers, particularly even the CV numbers have been positive, especially the medium commercial vehicle segment has worked for them. So that's playing out well. My only concern with Tata Motors now going forward is if they were to launch the Zika, which is a new platform on which they're building their passenger cars strategy, probably has a nomenclature issue with this virus that's doing rounds globally, and if that becomes I don't know how it pans out, but unless they decide to change, and they have acknowledged the fact that yes, they would be looking at it if required, if it's badly required. But these are things that worry you in terms of too much depending on just a single launch. They don't really have a stable of launches of sorts. So let's wait, and then 15 days down the line we'll have the Auto Expo. Get things threadbare in terms of who stands where, but I would still be positive on Tata Motors given the bottoming out of the sales cycle in the rest of the world.
Oh yes, absolutely bad timing with this new launch and this virus breaking out at the same time. But nevertheless, just take a look at Nita Gelatins. That was our earnings pataka today. We spoke to the management as well. That stock is up 20% now, and the management was very, very hopeful that the margin performance will further improve after the spectacular run it had this quarter. So that's Nita Gelatin India for you. It was one of the recommendations of our guest Porinju Veliat as well. So there you have it. That's a big mover. But Prakash Gaba, anything fresh that you have observed that one can trade perhaps in the next hour or so ahead of the policy?
Looks like there are some stocks that are looking okay to me. I would look at Bharti Airtel. That perhaps can go up. It's given an initial buy here and can climb to levels closer to 303, stop below 296. Second stock that I like is Dish TV. Here too looks like it's holding out. So there's a very good chance Dish could climb up to levels closer to, it's a very aggressive trade. It can climb to levels closer to 93 zones, stop below 89. And finally, I also like Havells. That has given some kind of an initial signal, like kind of a breakout has come in. And Havells can climb to levels closer to around 3912, 3911 zones, stop below 304. So these are the three stocks that perhaps look okay to me in initial start.
Prakash, any thoughts on Eros International? Up 7% today, up 27% this entire week. Anything in, what's keeping the stock this excited?
I would believe it could possibly be related to the digital, digitization of their content that has been in the offering. But if there's any trigger in the recent time, a couple of days, I really don't know about that. That's a theme that's going to work in favor of a lot of companies. We've seen that happen to Balaji, Shemaru, Eros, so huge potential for that, and you'll keep on seeing these kind of waves of positive news flow for some of these companies.
Okay, fair enough. So the market opening has been absolutely quiet, no updates at all, just that the Nifty is holding on to that 75-50 odd level. We'll try and do a quick recap of all the stocks that our guests have picked up, and then we'll let them go on that note. Here's what Rajat Bose has picked up for the day. He has a buy call on Ashok Leyland with a target of 95.50 and a stop loss at 89.40. That company gave good sales this time around. He also has a buy on Imami, which had a good quarterly performance, target of 1081 and a stop loss at 1008. He has a buy call on Jamna Auto with a target of 159.5 and a stop loss at 148. And he also has a buy call on aviation stocks, Jet Airways, with a target of 643 and a stop loss at 589. He has a sell call on Bank of Baroda with a target of 111 and a stop loss at 126. And he also has a sell call on Vinity Organics with a target of 391 and a stop loss at 408.
Okay, a quick recap then. Prakash Gaba's recommendations for you. A buy call on Ambuja Cement, target price 204, stop loss at 198. He recommends a buy call on Apollo Hospital, target price 1530, stop loss to be placed at 1478. The next one is a sell on HPCL, target price 790, stop loss 817. Lastly, a sell call on Tata Steel, target price 240 and a stop loss to be placed at 255.
Alright, here's a quick recap of Shubham Agarwal's stocks of the day. He has a buy call on HDFC with a target of 1270 and a stop loss at 1130. He has a buy on Petronet LNG with a target of 280 and a stop loss at 242. He also has a buy on Pidilite Industries with a target of 630 and a stop loss at 538. And his last call is a sell call on Apollo Tyres with a target of 128 and a stop loss at 152.
And here's what Siddarth Bhamre had recommended for you today. A buy call on Hindalco Futures, target 80, stop loss at 67. The next one was a buy on HDIL Futures with a target price at 82, stop loss at 67. The last one was a buy on BHEL Futures with a target price of 155 and a stop loss to be placed at 132.
Okay, a good time to get you some opinion before we head into the big policy. Prabhat Avasthi, the head of equities India at Namu.